On September 20th, 2012, the Mi'kmaq Warrior Society attended the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs meeting that was held at the Member 2 Convention Centre.
You can't put a value on the spirit, and that's what water is.
The Mi'kmaq Warrior Society had the intention of inviting the chiefs to sit in council to discuss their disapproval of oil and gas exploration and/or development of Lake Ainslie Block. Stephanie Marshall spoke on behalf of the Warrior Society.
I want you guys to know that we know what we have, and we're willing to lay down our lives to protect it. To us, water is sacred. That's the bottom line. That's what's at risk here, is our drinking water. 20% of the world's water, fresh water that's good for consumption, 5% is in Unama'ki here. So, and we're not willing to compromise one drop of that for any oil exploration or any gas fracking. We wanted to meet with the chiefs to communicate not only our position, but hopefully that we will get as between the Indians themselves. We would talk to you guys as ONU, and we would hope that you would support our endeavors to call for a moratorium on the halt of all oil and gas exploration at Unama'ki, because the risks far outweigh any benefit to us or future generations. We also feel that we have a duty to our ancestors. We have treaties that are legally upheld. Waikagama they came to with a package similar to the one the guys were talking about this morning.
But it was deemed as not as consultation, but as an information session.
We had that on tape how everybody refused it and everybody was no against it, but yet
if you guys want, we can present you the video of what happened that day.
No, we can put together a formal presentation if that's how you guys are used to doing things.
But we were just answering his question. Taking care of our environment, protecting the water, you know, like that's the kind of stuff that we need to be looking towards.
After we're done our the protesting part of it, we're going to have a water ceremony just to ground us all and to keep it sacred. Because when we keep it sacred, nothing can take us apart. And water is sacred, and we want to have a water ceremony. We have people here who came from afar that are going to do the ceremony for us, and we would like for our neighbors and our friends to join us.
A letter from the Mi'kmaq Warrior Society. Dear Indian Act elected representatives, KMK representatives, and government representatives. This does not justify its consultation or extinguishment of treaty rights or Aboriginal rights. We are writing you today to express our disapproval of oil and gas exploration and or the development of the Lake Ainslie Block, preferably the lease held by PetroWorth Resources. We see this type of exploration and or development of this kind, especially hydraulic fracking, known as hydrofracking, a threat to not only our spirituality, customs, way of life, but we also see them as another form of cultural genocide by the government and PetroWorth Resources Inc. It is our request that this project, exploration and development of shale gas and oil, come to an immediate halt. We see this as a very serious matter, as this process of removal of shale gas and oil has been proven time and time again to drastically reduce the health or completely extinguish the ecosystem. Animals, fish, birds, plants, medicines, humans, and the diverse biodiversity that survive off these very watersheds and water tables. There has been undisputed evidence of damage not only to our neighbors to the south in the United States of this type of development, but also here in our own country, Canada. It has been reported that the gas released from the shale rock formations was under so much pressure that it found ways to the surface meters away from the well sites and could possibly contaminate the groundwater, water pools, and water wells. It is just a matter of time. The Lake Ainslie watershed is of very special importance to the Ilnu Mi'kmaq people of Unama'ki, Cape Breton, because not only is it the watershed that leads into the Margaree River, but it is also a spawning area for our sacred eel. The Margaree River is one of the last spawning areas for another of our sacred species, the endangered Atlantic salmon, which are now extinct in the Bay of Fundy. This watershed also leads into areas where we actively practice our inherent hunting and fishing rights, perform ceremonies, and actively pick our traditional medicines, We as Ilnu have both the treaty right and the Aboriginal right to meaningful consultation regarding any development that will affect these very waters. Such practices go against our very inherent rights as collective title holders. Exploration and or development of these lands go against our rights because we as grassroots First Nations people, we were never consulted with, which is a fiduciary obligation of the Crown. It is understood that prior to any development concerning our waters or natural resources, that consultation is required of the Ilnu Mi'kmaq people of Unama'ki, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and that the need to accommodate would be met, along with the right to free, prior, and informed consent. We also see these actions, exploration, and development as an infringement of our treaty rights to not only hunt, fish, and gather from it, but our inherent right to the land itself. Our Aboriginal rights and treaty rights are unique because they are protected by the Canadian Constitution, Section 35, 1982. As we unite in solidarity as a sovereign Ilnu Mi'kmaq nation, we vow that we will do whatever it takes to stop oil and or gas exploration and or development in our territory. Regards, the Mi'kmaq Warrior Society.
Well, I have to say we made history. Rebecca, remember I told you the very first day we met, whenever the Warriors get involved, we always win. And we shall win again.
When anybody says to you, there is no fracking in Lake Ainslie, you say, of course there isn't, because we're not going to let it happen. We have the power behind us. I don't know how many groups are here. I don't know how many different groups are here. But that's where we get our numbers. Through time, they have spent it dividing us. They have divided us among ethnic, they have divided us along political, and they have divided us along religion. Well, that stops here. We are all joined for one cause, and one cause only. Oil and gas is not welcome in Nova Scotia. It is not a cure. It is a cancer. One oil well is one cell. One cell creates a problem. We do not let it happen. What do people? One of the first things we're taught as a child. What's that? And that is no. Darrell Dexter, no. Charlie Parker, no. Oil and gas, no. We say, and it's our right to. Thank you very much for coming out, people.
And I don't know what else to say, my loved ones, but thank you very much, and may God bless us. Yay!
I love your sign.
This is just like so important. There's nothing to say.
If we lose this water, if we poison this land, we might as well be cutting off our own right hand. 'Cause we and the earth are one, under the moon, under the sun. If we lose this water, if we poison this land, we might as well be cutting off our own right hand. 'Cause we and the earth are one, under the moon, under the sun. If we lose this water, if we poison this land, we might as well be cutting off